back at the UWIJFF Captain Horse Burrell Centre of Excellence here in Mona, and we're getting ready for Tivoli Gardens against the Arnett Gardens. As we said, both teams 5-time champions of the Premier League. Only Portmore United have won more Premier League titles than either of these two teams.
And I expect an exciting game.
Well, there's a kick-off, and Arnett Gardens in white, in possession, and I guess they would want to use the opening minutes of this game to get the feel of the surface, because they will know that Tivoli Gardens played on it before, so they know what to expect.
Yes, for sure. So the adaptation has to be quick nonetheless, though, because we expect from Tivoli attacking from the first whistle. We saw a pass going astray from Arnett early. We do know that one thing is good about this surface is that the bounce is true, and players can hold their heads up when a pass is made to them and survey their options.
Nelson does well to win that ball in midfield, but Tivoli give the ball away just as quickly as they'd want it. Yeah, so a wayward start by both teams here. None of them showing the willingness or the composure to possess the ball, but it's still very early. First touch.
One thing you tend to get in games like these, Lance, you'd almost call it a derby, is that a lot of fight, a lot of energy being exerted. Sometimes quality is not what you will get, but certainly you get high intensity action.
Yeah. O'Shane Roberts, Ezran Simpson at central defence, and here's Johnston's pass inside, a little bit short.
I think the turf might have played a part in that one, Lance.
Arnett in control with Sigri, who had spent some time on the Barbican books in Premier League football. Emard awards a free kick here to the Tivoli Gardens team. Apart from the sort of rivalry that these two teams have engaged in over the years, both from a success level and a political rivalry, because the Arnett Gardens team is a People's National Party team and Tivoli Gardens is a Jamaica Labour Party team. This is also a huge derby because there's not a lot of distance between these two teams based on the geography.
It's not just football, but bragging rights coming out of this game when it's all over, for sure. So a lot of things in the mix to cause this encounter to be a very interesting one that you for these players, high stake. It's early in the season nonetheless, but also too for Tivoli, a chance to really go top of the table too, or join others if they could get a win early. Yes, but good incentive for them to go after.
Price with a long clearance upfield. Both teams looking to have some difficulties here with the pace of the field. Arnett on the advance down the flank with Cephas doing well there, but his cross inside was easily cut off. Elliott's attempt to turn the ball inside, easily taken by O'Shane Roberts. As we said, Roberts just one of two Arnett Gardens players who were on the Premier League field for Arnett Gardens. The last time they played Premier League football against Waterhouse on the 9th of March last year. That was actually the last match before the COVID-19 pandemic aborted the season. There's Alex Thomas, a former player himself, pretty solid central defender. His brother Shavar Thomas coached Portmore to Premier League title success 3 seasons ago, and also had some experience playing MLS football, Shavar Thomas. This is his younger brother who is in charge. There's Philip Williams, Tivoli Gardens head coach. Good ball played upfield here to Elliott. Morgan with a cross, just outside of Garrison. Garrison does well to retrieve it though. Get some support he does from Andre Smith. The play anticipating as Tivoli Gardens looking just a little bit more comfortable on the surface, as you would expect, than this Arnett Gardens team, because they had the experience of their opening match here. This is the first game of the season for Arnett Gardens.
Yes, and we saw just now where Smith passed out, nothing to do with the turf, but just communication there. His teammate on that occasion apologising for not anticipating the pass into space. So often we see players expecting the ball to be passed to feet. That occasion, space was the best option.
Yeah, McCain takes the return pass. Elliott very, very strongly challenged by Ezra and Simpson. Yeah, that's Pennycook under some pressure there, but does well at central defence by Tivoli Gardens. Now here comes Johnson, who loses it.
Teddy Cook has had a decent start to the game, winning his first couple of duels. That would have done his confidence a world of good.
Flemings. Nelson's first touch is not as good as it needed to be, and he has lost it here in the opening 6 minutes of the game. So both teams look a little uncertain and lacking the clinical touches early. But we would hope, and expect that the game will build as the half continues and into the second half. The sun not out that brightly at the moment, so that will ease the players from a temperature standpoint, because shortly after 1 o'clock in the afternoon in a Caribbean country, you know how hot things get.
Certainly will. And they can look forward to an hydration break.
Yeah,
22 minutes.
Here to Cephas. Free kick awarded to Tivoli Gardens. Cephas deemed to have fouled McCain, who was our MVP for their opening game match against Mount Pleasant.
We've seen a few defenders being mentioned and also winning in the early stage of this competition MVP awards, which is good also for the game. A lot of times the defensive aspect of the game not really given the attention it should, and we've seen teams and players so far in the season doing well.
Yeah, Garrison with possession now here for Tivoli. Elliott being harassed here by Ezra and Simpson. And, there was a whistle on the play anyhow. There's Ezra and Simpson. Ex-Harbourview player, was also on the Malines books at one point. Deemed to have been fouled there by Elliott.
One good team I've seen so far, Lance, is the fact that both these two teams are looking to pass forward on every occasion. Not a lot of sideways passing, and to get the attack going.
There's been a handball on Jeremy Teddy Johnson. Inadvertently, I think he was tripped as well, and the whistle is favourable for Tivoli Gardens, 35 yards out, slightly down the right channel. Yeah, just tripped up there from behind.
And with the wind behind Tivoli, you beg to wonder if Teddy Johnson, who picks himself up here, will go for goal. It's quite tempting.
Yeah, with the wind swirling as well. Rodriguez in the Arnett Gardens goal will have to be very careful here. Johnson, the man with vast experience, 41 years old now. Lots of tangerine shirts digging around in the box, and the diving save from Rodriguez. Very, very urgent from him, because that was heading for goal.
Definitely heading for goal. That was a good strike on target. I think he would have tried. You saw his run up, just making sure that he got that on target. And with the players running across Rodriguez, that would have put him off as well. So, in the scheme of things, decent save.
Yeah, he would have thought initially that maybe there could have been a deflection or a sliding header on, so he didn't want to commit himself too early. Garrison comes in, takes the corner short. McCain under pressure.
I think McCain should have squared the first opportunity he got once he put it back on his right foot. The defender had the advantage.
Whistle from referee Nemard. Oh, the kick goes against Price, who is questioning the referee's call.
As players always do.
Yeah, big. And here's what happened. Yeah, a bit of a shoving match going on there, and the referee Nemhard ruling that Price was a guilty man. Free kick to Arnett Gardens, pretty high inside their own half. And Roberts, former Waterhouse and Cavalier defender. Whistle again, this time Tivoli's kick, so Arnett Gardens being thwarted at the moment with their efforts to go into the Tivoli Gardens defensive third. Pennycook pretty solid in defence for Tivoli Gardens so far in this match, as he was against Mount Pleasant 2 Saturdays ago. I would have thought that Tivoli would have been fairly happy to take a point from Mount Pleasant, and the fact that Mount Pleasant went on to win their second game probably tells you that Tivoli did reasonably well in their first match not to lose to Mount Pleasant.
And they were good in the game. There were good moments for them in that game, opening game as well. At points you felt that they could have gotten more than just a point, but you're right, he would have been pleased with that first outing against a team that many felt is the favourite.
Great skill here from the 41-year-old Johnson. Fouled.
He's about to see that
errant anyway, but he's lucky that the whistle had gone in his favour before that.
Well, he might argue that it's because of that why his pass went astray, but
he plays it quickly. Garrison, former UWI man Davion Garrison. Oh, his effort is covered by the fact that he appears to have lost his footing.
We see that a lot on this surface, Lance, in the previous games, even at first in match day 1, and also it continues in match day 2, where a lot of players seem to fall over.
There's Kimar Flemings, the Tivoli right full-back. Free kick for them over on the right. Flemings had spent some time at UWI, 3 or 4 seasons at UWI before returning to Tivoli Gardens in the 2019 season. One of the more experienced players in this Tivoli Gardens setup at the moment. Some free kick to the Arnett Gardens team deep inside their own half, close to the corner flag.
You expect that from defenders in the modern game. They just need to feel a little nudge or touch in their backs and they'll go down for sure. There you have it.
Ezra Simpson, former Harbourview man who was on the Malines books at one point as well. I think so far in this game, Alex Thomas, the Arnett Gardens coach, would be a little bit disappointed with his team's ability to keep possession of the ball. Neither team has excelled really, but Arnett have been a little bit more guilty of giving the ball away easily than the Tivoli Gardens team.
I guess that speaks to them getting used to this surface, and again, a little bit excited, the youthfulness of this Arnett Gardens team.
So Rachel Morgan, I think, down. His second Premier League season. Morgan, the 22-year-old. Player. One of the smaller players on the field, but has a lot of quality.
I'm pretty sure he's expected to carry a lot of the weight for this Tivoli Gardens team, despite his youthfulness.
It did show last year that he has some potential to be a good servant for Tivoli Gardens. Scored one of the goals in their 4-3 win over Waterhouse, he did. Again, the passing accuracy of both teams here leaving something to be desired.
As I said earlier, quality, not always the highest attributes of these games between these two teams, but certainly in terms of energy and fight, you're going to get that. And we've seen a lot of stop-start to the game, and that's because of that type of emotion riding on this game for both these two teams. we'd definitely like to see them settle and give us some good football.
McCain's long cross inside. Morgan goes up for it and misses. But it did look a little threatening as it was searing through the here for the 18-yard area. It's knocked in the face there, but no attention yet from the referee. Hardly Barnes forward. The offside flag has gone up. Yeah, there's Hardly Barnes.
Just a little too eager to go there. I think that was Lopez. Well, more than just a little eager. That was way offside.
Yeah, Shadeen Lopez, only 20 years old. Wore the Jamaica College colours in Manning Cup football. Just streaking into an offside position there, maybe just advertising the fact that his school are the current boys track and field champions. So he's a little bit too quick off the mark with his pace.
I wonder if he was a part of their exploits recently.
Rodriguez. Big long kick downfield. Barnes challenged strongly from behind by Price. And a whistle quickly taken here. Tivoli Gardens on the attack down the right flank. Oh, Flemings does really well here. Players waiting in the box for it. Elliott, can he get the shot off? Handball, I think. Referee says play on.
Definitely.
The shot was heading goalwards.
Most definitely. And I guess for referee Nemo, it must have been the proximity to the shot, which is why he waved play on.
Inadvertent handball, if it was in fact a handball. Here's Elliott again. Garrison! Blocked. Got the left-footed shot off. Good defending from Arnett Gardens. We're under the cosh here. Cephas trying to go forward to Hardly Barnes with that. Here's the play once again. Now Elliott does really well here because he's hounded by a couple of players. Here's the turn and he'll eventually get a left-footed shot off. Yeah, handball.
Well, Lance, we've seen, he wouldn't know a lot about it, but I think it's the proximity that time that influenced referee Nemad, because the arm was away from the body.
Yeah, the kind of play that VAR would have had to have a look at.
Most definitely.
If VAR was in use here.
And I've seen that one given a lot of times when VAR intervened.
Price. Morgan. Marlon Martin fighting hard for the ball and wins a free kick for his team.
I think one of the problems I'm seeing here and a pattern developing here for Arnett Gardens is a lot of times when they play out from the back, their midfielders don't come short for it and link the play with defence, and they play that long ball over the top and they lose out.
Yes, agree, getting a handful here for Arnett Gardens as he tries to defend the ball. But Guthrie coming close for the pass but not receiving it. The Arnett Gardens captain so far not as much in the game as I'm pretty certain his coach Thomas would want him to be. Garrison. Elliott. Oh, he tried to set himself up for the left-footed strike there, but the ball just squeezed away from him.
First touch was good, and just that little movement of the ball away to his right just created a little yard of space, but it's just that second touch was just a bit too heavy. It ran away from him. Guthrie has been for Tivoli Gardens Garrison has been pretty much involved in a lot of the things that looks good for Arnett Gardens so far. Yeah. For Tivoli Gardens, sorry.
Yeah, Garrison has been a key player for Tivoli Gardens since his move here from UWI. He was in fact their leading goal scorer last year, Tivoli Gardens, with his 7 goals. There he is after a fairly successful campaign with UWI.
Yes, on a few occasions had his attempted cross blocked, but you feel he's going to be influential in Arnett's drive for victory today. Tivoli's drive for victory today.
He is Garrison.
Not too surprised with the possession there, because both teams have been turning over the ball a lot and generous to each other. So the possession equal and the scoreline is equal as well.
Oh, good football here from Garrison. McCain's cross, threatening. Simpson up with a header for Arnett Gardens. Just averts the danger for the moment. Wow. Elliott loses his footing as he was about to pounce on the ball, the 21-year-old. There he is. Attended Jose Marti High and then went to Jamaica College. And was on the Portmore books for some time as well. Aaron Elliott certainly looks threatening here early in the game.
Big striker, and yes, he's certainly causing this Arnett Gardens defence a lot of concern early in the game.
Pretty stiff wind across the ground at the moment, and it is also affecting the trajectory of the ball and sometimes the player's judgment of how the ball will get to them airborne. Yeah, Guthrie struggling there, failing to get his pass off. Janoy Cunningham at central defence for Arnett Gardens, taking care of business there. For the Arnett defenders and midfielders, a lot busier in the game so far than the Tivoli men, which is a clear indication that offensively Tivoli have been the more threatening team.
And Coach William did say that's the area that he worked on a lot coming into this game, because he wasn't satisfied in their first outing of their attacking play, and they've certainly showed some improvements here.
Garrison shows good skill on the left. Yeah, long ball played downfield here by Cephas. The overlapping Roberts is being attended to by Pennycook. Referee Nemard is awarding a free kick here to Arnett Gardens, or is it a throw? Yeah, there's the evidence of the stiff wind.
I think the coaches will tell their players to try and keep the ball on the turf. It's a good surface for passing.
Yeah, they have their water break here at the halfway stage of the first half, but Tivoli, led by their big captain and central defender Price, marshalling things there from the back, Dwight, looking to have more control of this game at the moment, although I hesitate to use the word control because neither of the teams have displayed a lot of quality and composure and keeping the ball away from their opponents.
Not much of that today, and I think a lot of it has been contributed to the fact that they've played a lot in the air, especially Arnett Gardens, and when they play out from the back they bypass the midfield and with those long searching balls, and not really accurate, as you said earlier, with this wind. And but if you were to tip a team that is more satisfied in this first half of the first half, it's going to be Tivoli Gardens, because they've looked better going forward, threatened a few times. Rodriguez had to make a save, so yes, would be more satisfied, but not much to write home about in terms of the quality, and that will have to improve in the second part of this first half.
And apart from the save that Rodriguez had to make from the Teddy Johnson strike, there was that shot from Elliott as well that crashed onto the hand of one of the Arnett Gardens defenders from close proximity, so they weren't punished for it, but that certainly was a threatening moment as well. I'm sure Alex Thomas is trying to urge his team to settle as quickly as they can, because if you didn't know the past week and a half of this competition, you came here to see this match and you were told that one of the teams were playing their first match on the ground and the other had played here before, it wouldn't be very difficult for you to guess that Arnett is a team that is unfamiliar with the conditions.
Most definitely. We spoke about them trying to settle early. That has not occurred so far, so they're going to have to work at that, and I think they have to bring the different section of the team coming into the play.
Yeah, there's Simpson, who has been very, very busy at defence here for Arnett Gardens so far in this match.
He has intercepted a few passes coming into the penalty area.
Yeah.
Headed a few out. He's been busy, but has stood up to the challenge so far.
Yeah. Veralton Nemar, the man with a whistle. A University of the West Indies graduate, studied psychology. And also played the Costa Cup football for Cornwall College. So he's accustomed to the heat of the battle in football.
So his grade in terms of game management should be very good, having studied psychology.
Barnes. The flag goes up. Throw to Tivoli. Back on the sort of rivalry that we've discussed already about these two teams and the history. The head-to-head historical record between them certainly tells a story of intense battles between them. 45 meetings between Arnett Gardens and the Tivoli Gardens. 17 Tivoli wins. Ball across the area. 16 Arnett Gardens wins and 12 drawn results.
So very little to separate the two teams in history and also today.
There's Watkins, who was outstanding in their opening game against Mount Pleasant, brought off several good saves and was a huge candidate for the MVP honour for that afternoon.
He's going to struggle to get that award today again if the game continues this way, because he's not been able to show his skills.
Yeah.
Arnett unable to trouble him so far in this game.
Barnes. Tripped by Morgan. Free kick to Arnett. Top of their own half. Close to the top of their own half.
I just think the Arnett needs to improve the transition from defence to midfield and attack. Just a little bit more patience and bringing their midfielders into the play, having runners going at this comfortable Tivoli defence. So they're a comfortable header out.
Arnett with an opportunity here. Right across the goal! Pennycook it is, I think, that gets the ball out eventually. Powerful strike inside by Cephas. Created some anxious moments there for the Tivoli defenders.
Yeah, the defenders for the first time they got drawn to the ball, got a little bit too narrow. Cephas found himself in acres of space. Just
a lot of power there.
I guess he was, a lot of
power, and Guthrie almost got onto the end of it.
Most definitely. I guess he was just putting it into the danger zone and inviting any of his attackers to just go ahead. And
Elliott, hounded by Simpson. Arnett now in transition. Lopez on the left. Dragged down by Fleming's free kick to Arnett.
And there's early signs since the hydration break here where Arnett has seek to really, as we've suggested, put the ball down and bring their midfielders into play and transition with the entire team, not playing that long ball. And we've seen here now in two attacks to look a little bit more purposeful and giving more concern to this so far comfortable Tivoli defence.
Guthrie, the Arnett captain. 5 or 6 white shirts to aim at in the box. Wow, disappointing from Guthrie.
Disappointing, it built him up well. And I felt a part of his concern was the fact that the wind was going against him in terms of, so he might have just exerted a little bit more effort in getting that one in. And in the end, too much. And that one sailed over.
This Arnett Gardens team, as we were talking about, a fresh look to it. A lot of the Arnett stalwarts that we've been accustomed to over the years, Fabian Reid, Marvin Morgan, Kamal Malcolm, not in this setup at the moment.
And it gives an opportunity for the young guards to really stake their claim. A lot of times we have seen that the younger players believe that they deserve a shot at the top level. Well, here they're given that, whether it's by design or forced upon them with the advent of the long layoff. Well, nonetheless, that's what they have put out today. A youthful aggregate.
Yeah, there's Marlon Martin. Guthrie. There's Sigri there on the left. Here's Guthrie. He'll strike right-footed maybe. No, he doesn't. Right across the area. Deflection, I think, is the cry. Doesn't get the referee's sympathy on that occasion. Luca Kong, was it? I thought there was a deflection there.
There certainly was.
Yeah, Luca Kong. Originated from St. Mary. Currently a St. George's College student, we're told. And Arnett guys really emphasizing the youth here, giving young players an opportunity. And there's some credit to taking that route as well, Dwight, because sometimes in sport, even at the highest levels, you get young players in and they're fearless. They don't have the experience of disappointments and the stress of expectations and so on. They just go in fearless. And youthful exuberance sometimes shows itself positively in all sporting endeavors.
We've seen it in some games so far.
Oh, delightful ball in. Got a header out there from O'Shane Roberts. Cephas uses space on the right. Still Cephas. Guthrie. Oh, delightful ball across. Hardly Barnes. Offside.
I think Cephas had the chance to play that drop pass to Barnes earlier. And at that point, I felt he was onside, and it would have really bamboozled the Tivoli defense had he played it when he was going across it. But that was, from that shot, Barnes was definitely onside.
Yes, he was.
It was a poor call there from the assistant referee down below us.
He was clearly onside. And Guthrie, a lot of vision with that pass as well.
I've seen a few of that from this side so far in the competition.
Nelson tumbled over there from the Arnett challenge. I also thought Guthrie had an opportunity to strike a goal because he had set himself up well right-footed, but he found the Harley Barnes pass hard to resist and played it through. Good pass.
And in the end should have been on the stat sheet as a possible chance created.
5 Tivoli men in the box waiting for the Barrington Price cross. And that's Price with a header. Teddy Johnson will play the ball in.
It was a good attempt to switch a play. It was just as you talk about the trajectory of the ball with the wind, creating a little problem there for Cephas.
Garrison forward, free kick to Tivoli taken quickly. Andre Smith goes back to his captain, and now Fleming's with the ball on the right.
Again, the wind picking up here.
Yeah.
And as I said, that's an encouragement for these players. Tivoli doing the right thing, keeping the ball on the turf.
And the sun has been in and out as well. 1 minute it goes behind the clouds and gets gloomy, and then the next minute it's bright and sunny, as it is at the moment. 33 minutes in, no goals yet, Arnett and Tivoli.
Because of the stiff wind, the sun might not be so toxic on these players.
Arnett continuing to be the busier defenders. Nelson goes down hurt.
And it's good defensive work there by Cunningham. He felt really just was always putting pressure. Really, he did his work.
Simpson wants some movement from his forward players. Yeah, he's not seeing the pass he wants. Eventually he was hoping that Cephas could cut in to receive that one, but not even close.
Again, I still believe they need to bring more of their midfield players into the action. Tivoli was backing off there, and there was an opportunity to play it short because there was not much space to run in behind with them backing off.
Oh, Garrison does well to get into the box. That's good work there by Janoy Cunningham. Cuts the pass off in the end, but really anxious moments here for Arnett Gardens in defence. But Garrison very, very creative on the left and causing a lot of problems here. His first touch just got rid of the challenging man. His pass inside read well by Cunningham and averting the danger for Arnett.
Really had just one player to aim at. I think that was Martin. But again, as we've seen from him so far in this game, very, very lively.
The cross, dangerous. The corner kick from McCain was. Hardly Barnes upfield.
Tivoli has been playing temporarily with 10 players, and Nelson Streetman just finishing, and he's treating himself here, getting ready to come back on.
Yeah, but it's been a tough half here for Arnett Gardens. They've really struggled to contain this Tivoli team, who have looked assertive and pretty compelling going forward.
As a coach, what you tell your team in a situation like this is that yes, we've been under the cosh, yes, we have not played well, but the bright side is that we're still in this game, we're level, and a lot can change.
Lopez losing possession of the ball. Here's Elliott for Tivoli. Simpson with a sliding challenge. Smith, McCain. Smith's pass is a good one to Morgan. Tumbles over in the box from the Cunningham challenge. Corner for Tivoli.
That was a lovely, lovely pass from Smith, and it really had Cunningham on the wrong side. Really had to time that challenge. Look here to see if he really did that. Beautiful ball over the top.
Yeah, Cunningham got ball.
And for a moment there, he was on the wrong side. And Morgan was looking to get away from him.
Yeah, huge difference size and physicality between the two players there. Johnson goes for goal, does Johnson. I think he was trying for the surprise shot there because there were players to the flank waiting for it, and he had passing options for the surprise shot, but it didn't have enough venom on it, and more than anything else, it was straight to the goalkeeper. Morgan, well read by Simpson. Elliott, big and strong, puts some pressure on the Arnett men, but a cluster of Arnett defenders gather and get the ball. Garrison, very, very outstanding in midfield so far for Tivoli Gardens. McCain intercepts. Luca Kong gets in the way for Arnett Gardens.
What we've seen from Garrison is good tactical play here. He's out most times on the left flank, but he does rotate and go inside to create some numbers up, so they play narrow so that they can outnumber the three-man midfield of Arnett Gardens. So Garrison really doing well, and it must be pleasing to his coach.
Yeah, Arnett Gardens on the counter now with Martin. Barnes goes to the top of the box. Lopez does well, but loses it eventually. The covering challenge from Morgan breaks the danger up for Tivoli Gardens. So Arnett's threats at the moment being reduced to transition and counter-attacking plays, because most of the general flow of the game is on Tivoli's offensive end. But here's Lopez, goes toward the box here, does well to try to get away from his man, but Morgan close enough to slide in with a right-footed effort.
I mean, he did get away from McCain initially, but Morgan was on hand. It needed to be, because he felt had he not made that challenge, King would have had some work to do.
First corner for Tivoli, for Arnett Gardens here in this match. Tivoli have already had 3 corners. Lots of white shirts in the box there waiting for an Arnett Gardens opportunity, which would be against the run of play if it comes.
It was a poor corner kick, didn't beat the first hurdle, and Morgan's position, he did what was expected of him. Good clearance as well, good firm clearance, and give his team a chance to come out and reorganize and deal with a less threatening situation, which is a throw into Arnett Gardens.
Barnes. Wow. Foul on Andre Smith. Free kick to Tivoli. Now the sun comes out very, very brightly as we head in towards half time.
Not really see much in that, but
yeah, probably the hand in the face of the Tivoli man there. Here's Flemings. Johnson. Garrison. Yeah, good determined work there from the experienced O'Shane Roberts. Just fends off the cross there by Garrison.
I think in that duel, Roberts has done very well. Every time that Garrison puts the ball on that left foot to get the cross inside, Roberts has effected a block, and I'm pretty sure he's winning that battle in terms of blocking the attempts.
Easily the most experienced player on the Arnett Gardens roster at the moment, the 31-year-old. Yeah, you saw there Garrison attempting the cheeky side-footed nudge toward goal, but got too much on it.
Heavily left-footed, you feel, on that occasion. Maybe it would be best to swing that right boot to get it around, but trying to turn it with the left, would have to open that inside of the foot and just have it glide across it. But the ball came to him quickly, so that was always going to be difficult.
Last 4 minutes of the half here to go. Rodriguez has already been forced to bring off a good one-handed save early in the match from a Teddy Johnson kick. Yeah, Cephas manhandled off the field there, crashing into the barriers. Andre Smith to McCain to Elliott, who has Simpson to contend with. Holds the ball up well, Elliott. Waits for the pass to Garrison. Good football here from Tivoli. Oh, Elliott does well. Whistle. Offside flag has gone up against Elliott. Looks threatening, Elliott. Big, strong young man. Only 21 years old.
That occasion, though, Lance, I felt an opportunity missed from Tivoli Gardens to get the ball into the box. There was about 4 players waiting, and the marking wasn't all that tight.
Yeah.
And had they had a good cross to pick out someone, just would have threatened Rodriguez. We've seen having some difficulty, so left to see what would have happened had he come under some pressure prior to him going down.
Yeah.
But Tivoli didn't really exploit that.
There's Elliott, who was doing some good work there on the left, but you're right to have the option of trying to spray the ball in the middle as quickly as possible, because he had drawn quite a few of the defenders over there on that left side.
And so the marking in the box was slack. It wasn't tight, so players would have had, if they had a good first touch, really set themselves up to really attack Rodriguez in goal.
Yeah, there's the Tivoli skipper, Barrington Price. Cunningham for Arnett at the top of his own 18-yard area. Harley Barnes tries to get a header on. Guthrie challenged here, the Arnett Gardens captain. Nelson. Flemings. Problems here for Arnett, but Roberts makes it look easy in the end.
Good composure there from Roberts.
Barnes under pressure from Pennycook. Gets by Pennycook, does Barnes. Yeah. Smith holds his hand up to say that he didn't do anything. Barnes tumbled over.
I think Smith was right. Barnes actually stepped on the ball.
Yeah.
And lost his footing.
Fortunate to get away here initially.
Yeah. Well,
there may have been some contact. Price. weight on it. Elliott didn't get to it.
But
3 minutes to be added on for stoppages here in this first half, so we still have at least 3 minutes of football remaining. Mentioned how tight the head-to-head between these two teams have been over the years. 17 Tivoli wins, 16 Arnett wins, 12 drawn results in 45 meetings. But in recent times, it's been Arnett that have been the more dominant team. In the last 18 meetings between these two teams, 9 Arnett victories, 5 Tivoli wins, and 4 drawn results.
with the youthful aggregation, you feel they may struggle to continue that trend, but you never can tell. The fact that they have managed to keep this game level so far going into the half-time interval, they may just grow in confidence here.
Yeah. Garrison to Johnson. Nelson. Fleming's overlapping on the right. Deflection. Assistant referee has given a corner here for the Tivoli Gardens team as we complete the first minute of 3 minutes of stoppages.
It was a beautiful searching ball from there, Teddy Johnson, to get that attack going. And it really broke the lines of the Arnett Gardens team and got Tivoli Gardens into that attacking third.
Yeah, and as we've seen a lot here on those set plays, it's McCain given the responsibility of this right-sided corner. 5th corner for Tivoli Gardens so far in this match. McCain's corner threading across. Oh, the header on goal, and Rodriguez gets in the way.
Not a smart save there from Rodriguez. Second time he's been called upon, and he has kept his team into this one, or in this game.
Yeah, vital save there by Rodriguez.
Did make himself big, both hands. It looked to have come straight from the corner kick.
Yeah,
Oh, just no.
He got close enough to it. It was Anthony Nelson who got the header.
Yes.
But the goalkeeper was right there. Arnett now on the counter. Pulled down by Pennycook. I thought there was some contact there. Was there?
It didn't look like there was much.
Foul by Barnes on Morgan.
But Arnett will be grateful to Rodriguez that they will go into this half level. 2 really good saves from him in this first half.
Yeah, here's Morgan with the ball, and Barnes comes charging in, doesn't get ball, and knocks the little man over.
And one of the easiest calls for referee Nemard to make in this first half. We've gone beyond that 3 minutes indicated, but as is said very often, or the rules of it, it's a minimum of. And
that's the Arnett captain.
a lot of
Guthrie.
fouls in this game, a lot of stop-start to this game, but you've come to expect that when with these two teams meet. You'll never fault these players on effort. These two teams meet, sometimes not quality, but the effort is always there. Sometimes it boils over and you get these proliferation of fouls.
Flemings. Nelson collected but doesn't keep it, and referee Nemard calls an end to the first half. No goals here between Tivoli and Arnett Gardens. Arnett Gardens defence stretched for the most part in this half to white, but no goals for Tivoli to show for it. But fairly competitive and urgent football here from Tivoli, and Arnett have done reasonably well here to fend off what has been a fairly positive, offensive-minded Tivoli Gardens team for the first 45 minutes.
Most definitely, and Coach Williams did say that's what he worked on, and he's seen some improvement on the first game, but also you'd want to feel Arnett could be the most satisfied of the two teams going in, because with all that has gone on, they're still in this game, and we've seen so often in football a game where there are 2 different halves, and so they'll look forward to come out in the second half and really take charge of the game and see what they can get from it. But a good game so far, quality not so high, but in terms of effort and intensity has been there.
Yes, so at half-time then, Tivoli Gardens and Arnett Gardens locked in a 0-0 battle.